It's time for my 5 good and 5 bad things with the NIO ET5. Welcome to It's Only Electric. This is the channel where we only review and test fully electric vehicles. I have been driving this car for 4 days now. Really happy with it. It has been a great time and a great pleasure to test this car. But every car has its bad things and of course also its good things. Let's start with the first bad thing. So to the first bad thing, and that's the armrest. And I don't like it in 2 ways. I mean, it's a great positioning of the armrest. It's smart because you can open it in both directions, but it is vibrating and is a bit too plasticky, and the cushioning inside it on top of it is too stiff and too hard, so I think it's not comfortable enough. It doesn't really match the rest of the interior because the interior quality is great on this car. The second thing on my list of bad things is the rear view window. It is very narrow. It's only about 15 centimeters high, so it gives you a really limited view backwards when looking at the rear view mirror. The backup cameras of course compensates for that, but it is not the same thing. The next thing on my list of bad things is the sound system. The sound system in general are great, sounds good, but it has a limitation. I don't know if something is wrong with this specific car or if it is in general, but the subwoofer doesn't work that good together with the rest of the sound system. So when you crank up the volume a little bit, half of the songs with heavy bass creates distortion on the subwoofer. So it may be that the amplifier is too weak, or the other way around, that the subwoofer element as such is too small and can't handle the bass. I'm not sure. But it is quite annoying when listening to music in louder volumes. The next thing on my list of bad things, the drive mode selector. A perfectly placed button for switching drive modes. As you see, perfect, good graphics, etc. And I love the possibility to customize the drive mode, but the problem is not the drive modes itself. I always want to drive on my custom drive mode, and if I exit the car, lock it, and then re-enter it for my next drive, then it always jumps back to comfort. I'm used to drive with full regen, for instance, and steady when it comes to the steering wheel, so I want to have the more sportier feeling. So I really feel the difference when jumping into the car, start driving, and then I feel that what happened with the regen, or why is the steering wheel so soft? I don't know why it's always jumping back to the default mode. You should stay at the last drive mode you were at before leaving the car. So I think that's an easy thing to fix. I mean, it's just software. Please NIO, is it possible to just save the drive mode so I have the same drive mode when I re-enter the car again? It would be great. So to the last bad thing on my list, that's the headroom in the back seat. I'm really tall, so 193 centimeters or 6.3, so I'm not the best example for sitting in the back seat. But anyway, when I sit like this and lean my head backward, I hit and touch the headliner in the roof. So the headliner where the glass roof ends are a bit too low and a bit too invasive into the cabin. So it actually touches my head. It's fairly soft, so it doesn't hurt, but it's still not a good feeling, and I'd rather not touch the headliner with my head. So let's jump over to the good things. The first good thing on the list is an application called Smart Action, and it works like an automation tool like EFTT, if then do that, or Zapier. So it is a tool, an application integrated to the car where you can schedule and create events based on other events and automate functions connected to, for instance, your behavior. Let's have a look at the application, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So you enter the application by pressing the app drawer and smart action. Then you can create your own action, manual or automatic. Manual means that it's manually triggered by you pushing the icon in the icons menu, or an automatic action which is triggered for certain conditions. So for instance, you can trigger the conditions by different times, environmental factors like interior or exterior temperature, air cabin air quality, some driving conditions like the remaining range, which gear you are at, the vehicle speed or battery level. So for instance, I can set when I drive over 120 kilometers per hour and the status remaining range is less than 20, let's say 50 kilometers. So when I drive over 120 kilometers per hour and the remaining range is less than 50 kilometers, I want to trigger a certain step or action. And you can do that in different sequences and a series of actions. So for instance, then I want to set the ambient lighting, activate that, and turn it on and set a specific scene or theme like Firefly, and also lit up all the reading lights. So this action doesn't make any sense, but if I drive over 120 kilometers per hour and the remaining range is less than 50 kilometers, it doesn't matter when, then it should lit up the ambient lighting in Firefly theme and also lit up all the reading lights. So now that automation is active, so I can run it, and then I know you can't see it, but it actually turns on the ambient lighting and all the dome lights, the reading lights in the car. So with this tool you can automate and trigger actions for a lot of things, and I don't understand why this isn't a common tool for every electric car with a smart system with sensors everywhere. I mean, it can really help you to automate stuff, and I really love it. And to the next good thing on my list, and that's the tow hitch. So you have a possibility to add a tow hitch to the ET5, and it really makes sense because it is a mid-size sedan with a fairly small boot space of 386 liters. You have foldable seats, and together with the tow hitch it really gets practical, and you can do most of the practical things you need, so you don't need to compromise. You can get the good-looking sedan but still have the practicality of your needs. And to the next good thing on my list, and that's the driving performance and the driving behavior of this car. It's really a comfortable drive but still sporty, so it's a perfect mix if you ask me. The suspension is traditional steel suspension, no air suspension on this car, but still it rides smooth. You have a little bit of a better contact with the road. Steering wheel feels a bit numb, but still fun to drive. And the mix of comfort and performance is perfectly fine-tuned, if you ask me. You have great performance driving, it feels good, it feels quick and nimble, despite its heavy weight of 2,150 kilograms. You get almost the same performance as you get in the Model 3 Performance. It is a bit heavier, but it's still very fun to drive, but it's a lot more comfortable than the Model 3 Performance. So I would say that it's a great combination of comfort and sportiness. The next thing is also about driving, but it's about autonomous driving. The ET5 does have the NIO Pilot. I've tried the NIO Pilot earlier on the ET7. I wasn't that impressed back then, but After trying the ET5, I can really say that NIO offers the same kind of autopilot functionality as Tesla does, and it works really good. It is by far the best autopilot system I have tried after Tesla's own autopilot functionality. It works really good, and some functions is even better than what Tesla offers currently. For instance, the lane change. It changes the lane in a good way, in the same way as Tesla does, but it also engages and uses the autopilot better in some scenarios. It feels steady in the lane. It doesn't do so much ping-ponging. It can handle most of the cases I have tried, so it is really a stable release of the NIO Pilot, and you can really activate the NIO Pilot and use it during long trips. You can trust it, and that's a good thing. So to the final good thing for the NIO ET5, and that's design, language and looks. It has a stunning exterior. I mean, mid-size sedans normally looks very good because it's a perfectly sized car to design. But this one is exceptional. It's one of the best sedans when it comes to exterior design. It looks sporty and classy. It looks like an expensive premium car with the sporty looks. I really like it, and it's cool in this yellow color. I wouldn't choose this yellow color though, but I understand why people would do. The great exterior is evenly matched with a really good interior quality and design. Feels like a Scandinavian lounge, great materials, good color combinations, good layout of the screens, etc. I love the steering wheel, looks really good, so a match in heaven. So that's my list of 5 good and 5 bad things with the NIO ET5. This is by far the best mid-size sedan I have ever tested. Things like ride quality in combination with the sportiness and the exceptional looks. It is a sporty and aggressive looking car. One of my favorite cars. So please use the comment section below to discuss pros and cons with this car, and if you agree or disagree with my 5 vs 5 list. That's it for today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, always stay electric, and thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.